Hi everybody, it's Yvonne here. How you guys doing? Today I'd like to show you how to make this cute little card. It has different folds to it. It makes it really sweet. I laminated the bird to it and it makes a beautiful card, different than most but still standard size like it should be to put through the mail, and it's not too thick at all. So let me show you what you'll need to make this project. You will need a full sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, white cardstock. You'll need another 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock to match your decorative paper. I used 2 pieces of 12 by 12 that I had cut down, and this is what I have here. So this would coordinate, but I could also use a nice teal green to go with this, so it doesn't matter. But it's whatever you have in your stock that really counts. What I want to show you today is how to make this card. So what you'll need to do is you'll need a full, like I said, a full size of 8.5 by 11. You are going to cut this. You are going to cut it down to 5.5 by 9.25. So we will cut 9.25. 9.25, 9 1/4 right here. And I'm going to cut that 9.25 by 5.5. Just one moment, I'll be right back. Okay, so now I'm back. We're going to do 5.5 on the short side. So I'm going to cut out 8.5 onto the 8.5 side like this. So you end up with one long piece of 9.25 by 5.5. Now you're going to take and you're going to score this at 1.5, at 1.5 here. I'm going to score this. I'm using my Stampin' Up! Scores and cut over here. And then I'm going to flip it around. So this is 1.5, and I'm going to flip this around, and I'm going to go at 3.5. So 3.5 right here. I'm going to score that. There's your card. It's as simple as that. You're going to do your folds. You're going to do your folds, and here is your card. Simple as that. So that's one piece of your card, which becomes this piece here. Now, all you're going to do, you end up with a 3-inch piece. And with this 3-inch piece, you end up with a 3-inch piece. And now you're going to cut it to 6 inches on the long side. So you end up with a 3 by 6. Now, at the 3-inch mark, or you can fold it down half, whichever you want. At 3 inch, you can score it, and then you end up having your card. As simple as that. Now, to put this together, all you do is you add this on top, and you end up having a card that looks like this. Now, what I did is I just made a front part for it. So this part here, let's say this here is 3.5, like I cut it. I cut down a matting of 3.25 and the actual design paper at 3 inches. So that would be 3.25 by 5.25, mat layer 1, and 3.25. Okay, 5.25, 3.25 is your first layer. Your second layer, which is your designer paper, will be at 3 and at 5. Okay, and then you end up with a piece like this. Now, for this piece here, and this will all be, when you cut down your 8.5 by 11 colored cardstock, you will see that you have all these pieces that you will be able to use to cut all this out. So for a matting piece on the small edge, you will need 1.25. That's for the first layer. To 5.25. Now your second layer, which would be your designer paper, will be at 1 inch by 5 inch. Okay? And the back, I started doing the back these last days, these last months, I don't know why, but I like it. It still fits in a regular envelope, so I have no issues with that. It makes the card a little sturdier, and it makes it pretty all the way around, I find. So the card here is 4 1/4, so you are going to cut your first layer at 4 inches by 5 1/4, and then you're going to come back with your designer paper, and you're going to cut it at 3 3/4 by 5, and that'll do all your back piece here. So you end up with all this piece here. Now for 3 by 3, all I did was cut out a piece. My first layer was at 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and my second layer, which is my design paper, I put it at 2 1/2 by 2 1/2. Okay, so that ended up being on top here. And all I did was this. I had a piece left over, and I ran it through my laminating machine. I wanted to see if I could maybe work with the bird. It's just something different. It makes it laminated. It is kind of cute, actually. And I just fussy cut it out and added it on here. But that is to the individual of what you want to. You may want to put a sentiment here, put another sentiment in here, and then have your greetings in here. So it's up to you what you want to do. So that is simple and easy to make, and it makes a very nice different card. Let me recap what I did. I took a piece of 8 1/2 by 11. I cut it down to 5 1/2 by 9 1/4. Then I scored it at 3 1/2 inches. I flipped my card over and I scored it at 1 1/2. Then that made the fold for the card, as you can tell. Then I took the remaining piece, which was 3 by 8 1/2. I cut it down to 6 inches, which made me a little booklet type, and I glued it. Once all my layers were done, I just glued it in the center right here. You could glue it on top if you wanted to. You could glue it in the bottom and put something here. You could do 2 of them. It's totally up to you. That's how easy this card is and how fast it is. I hope you'll try this. It's very simple, very nice, and the recipient would be very glad to receive, I am sure. So this is my showing to you for the first, for the Monday. And I hope you like it, and I hope you'll give it a try. This is Yvonne, and I'm going to let you go for now. Until next Monday, we shall see you then. And as I always say, be happy. Life is too short. Bye-bye.